22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Black Westchester Presents People Before Politics every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. I only have me on right now. Yeah. So today's going to be a full show. We got a special surprise guest coming to tell his story. Tell his story that has not been heard anywhere else, and we will hear it first on People Before Politics, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And then we have Caitlin Gleason coming in later on, and she will be discussing the soup kitchen. Okay. So that's it, yo. This is episode 145. Of course, David K. Jones handling some business. Getting ready for the press conference tomorrow. We have the lovely Lorraine Lopez in the house. We also have Dr. Bob Baskerville. That's Lorraine. Giving us the background soundtrack. No. So, real quick, what happened this week? Anything good happened this week? Your mic number 5 and your DJ mic. Yes, there is. Your mic sound nice. Check 1. Your mic sound right. Everybody's mic's on. Everybody's mic's on. I'm not worried about that. Yo, what went on this week? What we do this week? Anything good happen this week? Oh, so we had the yesterday. Was it yesterday? The county jail was up in flames for a little while.
Fire.
It's funny because I posted it, and everybody, including correction officers and all, they was like, "Burn, Mo, burn!" I was like, "Yo,
that's foul."
I was like, "Yo, ain't nobody concerned." But it was a building that's not often used. There were nobody, no injuries, and they don't know how the fire started, but it was on fire for a while. We dropped it first. Thanks to Tasha being on the spot, not real close by. She drove up and got us the flicks of the smoke coming right out the building. That was a beautiful thing.
Nice.
And shout to Yonkers Voice. I saw them out there on their videotaping. A few other people, news outlets. What else happened this week? We had a busy week this week. I know there was some other stuff that went down. This has been a crazy week.
Oh, this past week.
This past week, yes. Since the last time we was on. Yes.
Well, we woke up or went to sleep to news on Tuesday night that the mayor had filed a court action against the city controller for failing to, for the check that bounced.
Oh, yeah, the $70,000 vehicle. Shout to brother Rashad Bilal. What's up, bro? Wanted to send you an article for the. Yep. Send it through blackwestchester at Gmail. We need that. We need that article from our money man, Black Westchester financial correspondent. And you probably need to come through next week. You know what I'm saying? Talk about your article a little bit. It's been a minute. It's been a couple of months. You come through usually to give us some financial tips and everything once a month. It's been a couple of months. And thanks for setting up the ad with the African American men of Westchester, because I know that was you, because you're a member of that. So thank you for setting up that ad, and we greatly appreciate it. It was a good look for us. We're working on a November paper now. We should be out by the 27th, 28th, 29th, something like that.
Nice.
Good luck. I'm looking forward to this one dropping. So yeah, we was talking about the paper. We was talking about the check. So what did we find out? Well, we could talk. Do you want to get into that in detail, or you just wanted to mention that? Or you?
I mean, I'll just say that it caused a considerable controversy amongst residents as to who was right in this instance, whose action, in fact, complied with the city charter. As everyone well knows, Mayor Thomas essentially claimed that the comptroller had somehow or the other overridden his authority. You know, my own position is that Mayor Thomas was wrong in this case. He continues to overreach. Reports were that he had tried to access the city's bank accounts because of his displeasure with the fact that the check bounced. And there are several things that need to be noted. Number one, it's not just unsubstantiated rumor that the mayor attempted to get access to the accounts, because the mayor did file a number of court documents, all of which I reviewed. And in his motion, he specifically requests that the court place both himself and two of his subordinates in the executive office as on the account and give them full access.
So what's the problem with that for the layperson? What's the problem? He the mayor. Why can't he have access?
Because under our charter and under New York state law, only the designated financial officer of a governmental agency, of a governmental entity, is allowed to serve as the security administrator for the account.
So who would that be?
That is the comptroller. That's the city's chief financial officer. And when one reads the court filings, you can't help but be incensed, because the mayor's lawyer, Jeffrey Buss, maintained in one of the clauses in the filing that while the comptroller superintends the city's financial affairs, the mayor is, I want to be careful exactly how I say it, it's almost verbatim, manages the city's finances, and this is not true. When you actually compare the number of clauses in the charter that discuss authority over the city's finances, that's exercised by the mayor and exercised by the comptroller, you see that the mayor's authority pales in comparison. And so the mayor should cease and desist from this kind of overreach. It's only going to continue to cause further controversy. And, so that's my advice. As a matter of fact, everyone, you should know that at least in principle, the comptroller does have the authority to the comptroller, not the mayor. The mayor doesn't institute any paycheck control systems or anything. These are all powers that are given to the comptroller under the city charter, and it's just absolutely nonsensical. And I was going to say, as part of the comptroller's authority, she is authorized to institute the control system to make sure that checks are properly handled, which everyone would agree we as a city apparently need because of other abuses of checks where checks were stolen. It's perfectly legitimate. That is the way that the city's pay-safe system works, because that's a feature of Chase Bank. And it should be noted that the comptroller does have the authority, at least in principle, to make sure that any expenditures that the city's executive offices wish to make are, in fact, in keeping with the law. And she can decide, although I have spoken to her. No, I haven't. I've spoken to one of her representatives, and I got the sense that the reason that the check was not honored was because the mayor had withdrawn it from the check batches and therefore had sidestepped the controls that are in place. But we should note that if that check is not right, if those expenditures exceed or somehow the other in violation of purchasing criteria, then it may well be that the check will not be honored at all, and it will have to be subject to further review.
We're going to get more into that because we're going to look into that. We're going to probably do a story on it and a whole nine. Lorraine, anything good this week? Anything you was, any good news? Any?
No. I just, it was my birthday, so I spent the day.
Yeah, that's...
Happy birthday to
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
All right, let me
Go,
not do
shorty. It's your birthday.
Uh-oh.
No,
That's a different song.
That's the birthday remix, the ghetto remix. Dun.
No,
That's for us.
I mostly spent the day with my grandson. I went on a school trip with him, apple picking, so that was wonderful. And I spent most of the week working on my page, Latino Empowerment. Keep catching up with what's going on with Puerto Rico and stuff like that.
Puerto Rico, Yo, so we got a you have a article dealing with the state of Puerto Rico coming out in the November issue. That everybody needs to look out for.
Definitely.
We just edited it. It was a very powerful interview. And you have another strong story on the Latino Empowerment page of Black Westchester, which should definitely turn.
When you
heads.
read that, folks, don't kill the messenger.
You should it should definitely turn some heads. The title is Democrats. Democrats. What is it? Democrats taking advantage of the poor or something, or
minorities, Hispanics,
something like that. Like
Democratic Party.
Basically, they're basically talking about the Democratic Party coming up on the backs of the poor, and basically it's it's a powerful piece.
It's somebody's opinion.
It's definitely a powerful piece. Some of what I agree with, some I don't, but definitely a voice that needed to be heard, and it'll definitely. I invite anybody who does not agree with it to definitely write a letter to the editor, and we'll post it in the next issue. So, last thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we get into the show. So I'm getting ready to do a story on this. So, New York Times ran an article, and it was about a study that was done by the Metropolitan Police in D.C. on the use of body cameras. They call them BWC, body-worn cameras. And they had 1,000 officers wear them, and they studied 1,000 officers who didn't wear them. And over a 7-month or longer period, it turned out that the use of force complaints and civil complaints were just about even for those who had cameras and those who did not. So the story goes to say that we've been crying for these cameras and everything. Just like before Eric Garner, we was like, man, only if we can get it on tape. Yeah, we got it on tape. So that didn't do nothing for us. He was like, well, if they have body cameras, well, according to the study, body cameras may not stop cops. The study showed that basically it was almost even with the ones who had it and the ones who didn't, and that's very.
They just don't care, do they?
And that's very powerful and very damning because they had did a study before, and somewhere in California it was just random cops that wore it, but this is 1,000 cops wearing it and 1,000 cops not wearing it over a 6-month plus period.
Wow.
And they broke it down and everything, and they got the statistics, and it's a damn shame. So, sometimes we got to be careful what we wish for. Body cameras may not be the answer to end all answers as far as police criminality is concerned. There actually may be one or two officers that may think, you know what I'm saying? But just like there's ways around everything else, I'm sure there's ways around the use of body cameras when you're trying to do what it is you're trying to do.
They could turn it off.
Well,
no?
there's supposed to be the new ones that some of the cities are talking about getting new ones where it automatically loads to the computer system in the police department, and it will tell them if it's turned off. You like somebody monitoring at the police will get a notification or something if their camera is turned off. So if your camera's turned off and then there's an incident and then your camera gets turned back on, they're going to know about it. So they're supposed to be putting all these things in place. I don't think anything is perfect, but I'm looking into that, and I'm definitely going to do a story on that because I found it very interesting.
Yo, can you do a shout out to Hector Santiago?
Shout out to
and
Hector.
he's been collecting stuff for Puerto Rico. He teamed up with some people. They've been on Chicken Island on Sundays collecting
Yeah, I've been seeing
tons
that
of stuff. And he just sent you some info on where people can reach him.
Okay, so what? You go ahead and give the info. What's the info?
StopandShakeHector@gmail.com.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Shout to Hector, as always, friend of the show. Shout to Cynthia Turnquest Jones. What qualifications do you think one should have in order to serve as controller? That's a good question, and it's been talked about a lot. Obviously, because
Certified CPA.
they said that because everybody was screaming that Deborah Reynolds is not a CPA. A CPA is not actually a requirement, but again, it helps because the person needs to know. A CPA is definitely something that would be good to have. Hector, anyone want to donate? You already took care of that. Wilfred Dennis said good evening. Omi is on the check-in as
evening,
always.
brother Dennis.
Omi's on the check-in. Tasha is on the check-in. Ken Bright's on the check-in.
Yes, Ken.
White Plains Council member Nadine Hunt Robinson is on the check-in.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Sandy Barnaby is always on the check-in.
Yes,
and our friend Maxwell is.
Yes,
Carmen
Max.
Gomez
So-
Goldberg is on.
Said much love to the family. Okay, Carmen just joined. Uncle Frank just joined in.
Frank, what up?
And without further ado, I would like to get into our guests, get right into the show. So we can have our guests come in to the studio, and we're gonna get right into that. We just I'm looking forward to this interview here. This is hey Nadine, she just said hello, and Frank said Trusco in the house.
Yes, Frank.
So this is one of those stories that a lot of people, especially in Mount Vernon, have been waiting for to hear, and there have not been a lot spoken about it. And today we're blessed. Black Westchester is blessed to have an exclusive and be the first that they decide to talk to. So we're definitely greatly pleased. To my guests, you have computers in front of you. If you are computer literate, you can go to all your social media pages, let people know that you're on. You can talk to people, whatever you want to do through social media, check your emails, all that kind of stuff with the computer in front of you. Okay. And are y'all ready?
Yes, we are.
Well, nothing asking you. You was already here. You was ready. You've been ready. You're supposed to always be ready.
I'm trying to be interactive here.
Okay. So now switching screens to announce our guests. So our guest, first-time guest in the studio on People Before Politics, is the one and only Larry Fair. A lot of people know Larry Fair from Future Society and all the work that he does with the children. And let me just say something before we get started. When Black Westchester first started, and City Hall was not exactly Black Westchester friendly. I would go and I would get people looking at me and rolling their eyes, and people scared to talk to me because they didn't want to get fired. Mr. Larry Fair, no matter where he was, always found me, walked up to me, shook my hand, and said how I'm doing, and then went about his business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was beating up on the mayor, which is his boss, and everything, but he always spoke, and he always gave me the respect from day one. And a lot of people were like, they look and kind of say hi from the side, and they don't want to be seen. He came out regardless, and he always spoke. And that made me feel comfortable. That made a difference. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, City Hall, we were just getting started. And City Hall was not exactly Black Westchester friendly. So, we were.
That was City Hall under the Davis administration.
Yes. That was
things changed and some things stayed the same. Matter of fact, some things get worse.
Right.
Right.
But we was like, this is the time when me and Damon would walk up to places and Ernie Davis would be like, "Oh, here come the terrorists. These guys is worse than Al Qaeda." That's the kind of stuff we used to hear out of our friend Ernie Davis, who, But I just wanted to say that, and I've always had respect for his work and his dedication, and he's just always been even keel. He always holds it down. He's never been flashy. He never takes a bow for a lot of things that he do. A lot of people don't even know all the things he does. But the reason that you're here today, because you have a call for justice for the resignation of Mount Vernon Mayor Richard Thomas and members of the Thomas administration. Mr. Larry Fair is seeking justice for discrimination and retaliation against him from the Thomas administration. DPW city worker Larry Fair is calling for federal oversight of the Thomas administration, also calling for the resignation or terminations of Mayor Thomas, the mayor's sister and brother, Jacine and Preston Thomas, Ralph Uzi, the former DPW commissioner. Ralph Uzi is still working for the mayor under a different title. Is he?
Yes, he is.
Okay, now I just learned something.
Yeah.
I thought he was gone.
Wow.
And co-worker Neil Chuck Coretta, DPW maintenance foreman, also known as defendants in Mr. Larry Fair's lawsuit. Court papers are official public record, so you can get that for yourself. Okay, so we would like to welcome Mr. Larry Fair to the show. So I am a couple more shout outs. Kenneth Chamberlain, Naz Duncan, Wilfred Dennis, Nancy Sexton King, and my friend Reginald Lafayette just tuned in.
Oh, what's up,
Welcome,
Reggie?
Reggie. Long time overdue, brother.
Reggie, can you see? So
Don't hang up now.
yeah, it's gonna be a good show. Good show. Really great show. Really great show. So would you like to start with well, let's just go for there was an incident. The last incident that may be your last days in City Hall, where you were in some kind of a verbal, let's say, disagreement or whatever with a member of the Thomas family. Would you like to? And everybody pull your mics up to you when you talk. They move. You pull your mic up to you, so everybody can hear you clearly.
Larry,
Yes, Larry.
before you start, can you please introduce
Oh, please
yourself?
introduce. I'm
let me
sorry. I'm
introduce
so
you.
sorry.
All right. Let me just.
Get it together, AJ.
Hey, hey,
Come on,
hey,
huh?
hey, hey.
To my right here's my wife, Shonda. And over there on the end is John Bruno. He used to be one of the painters for the city, also the best shop steward that we ever had. And he's here to also enlighten you on some information about myself.
Welcome.
And what's been happening.
Welcome to the show. And let me start off saying also real quick. I am honored that y'all decided to first speak here. I always saw you when you were going through the whole situation, and you and your wife, and I always told you, whenever you're ready, I'm here for you. So,
Ready.
yeah, here we are. Here we are.
We're ready.
Right,
I
right,
like
right.
to do things the right way, and with situations like this, you want to dot the I's and cross the T's.
Okay,
You know, and people that know me know that it's going to be factual.
right,
I'm not here to call people names, call them out their names or anything like that.
right,
Get into this politics thing because I don't do politics.
right,
I've never been a person to campaign for anybody or anything like that.
right,
I started my own organization because of the fact that I don't have all that red tape when I want to help somebody,
right.
and that's what we do. And we dedicate everything that we do to Mount Vernon and the youth of Mount Vernon. And that's what we do.
Okay.
We're about until things changed when the Thomas administration came in.
Right, right.
But if you don't mind, I'd like to tell a little bit about myself.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, please.
For those people that know, my name is Larry Fair, and I'm a city employee with the DPW department for 27 years, and I'm also the founder and CEO of the Future Society for 9 years, and we've partnered with the city of Mount Vernon through its youth borough and also through recreation department, and because we always take pride in being part of the solution when it comes to the youth and the community. And so that's what we've done so far. That's why we felt it was important to join with the city. Somehow, things got a little twisted. And you guys have to excuse me because I'm not really myself right now because I've been going through some things for almost a year now.
Absolutely.
With the Thomas administration. I've been out of work since November 3rd of 2016. Because of an incident that happened with the mayor's family members threatening me with bodily harm inside City Hall. But so I don't miss anything. I wrote down some things, so if you don't mind me
Absolutely.
going through it right now. If I stutter a little bit, it's because I need to take a little breather
Absolutely.
in that respect. So I don't want anybody to think I can't read, right? All right, so let's start this. And I'm going to give you a copy of this also, Mr. Woodson, because it's a letter to the editor, and you can post it and let the people know that
I am laying out the November paper, so it will be in the November paper.
I appreciate that, you know. And this is not about me sitting here trying to, slander somebody just because I have nothing better to do. I've served just like I stated. You know, my name is Larry Fair. I am the day skilled laborer assigned to City Hall in the Department of Public Works. I have served the city of Mount Vernon and its community for 27 years in the DPW department. I am also the founder and CEO of my own 501c3 nonprofit mentoring organization entitled the Future Society Incorporated. And we have partnered with the city of Mount Vernon through Youth Borough and through Recreation Department for 9 years. My organization and I take pride in being part of the solution when it comes to giving back to the Mount Vernon community by mentoring the youth and their parents by providing positive activities and events. I always took pride in coming to work and working inside City Hall. That is until January of 2016 when the Thomas administration came into office.
Can someone ask if you could pull the mic closer to you so you're talking direct? It moves, so just talk directly into the mic.
All right, we'll just do that, okay? All right, since January 2016, I have experienced discrimination, intimidation, retaliation from the Thomas administration. Until November 3rd, 2016, when I was humiliated and carried out of City Hall by the paramedics and hospitalized with heart-related issues after being threatened by the mayor's family members. Excuse me a minute, sorry. Just because I wouldn't drop my case against the Thomas administration. I could have died that day. Does someone have to die before someone does anything about this abusive power? I'm sorry, about this abusive power. I'm still out of work under my doctor's care. Because of the hostile environment created by the Thomas administration, Mayor Richard Thomas, and members of the Thomas family, I filed discrimination and harassment charges with the Human Resources Department in April of 2016. Since then, I have been harassed, retaliated against, and discriminated against because of my race and color by a white coworker and by white officials of the Thomas administration. I have followed all protocols in filing charges from the bottom to the top, and still nothing was done to help me. Not even the police officer assigned to City Hall, nor the mayor's detail officer that was on the scene on November 3rd, 2016, did anything to help me while I was being threatened by the mayor's family members. Because of my current health condition,
Take your time. Take your time.
Okay, because of my
Sorry.
Okay.
Have a drink of water.
Because of my current health
Situation.
sorry. Okay, sorry. You see, I guess I'm not over it yet. Because of my current health condition caused by the hostile working environment, and because of the extremely hostile actions currently going on, and I believe being condoned by Mayor Richard Thomas' family members, by the Thomas administration, and by Mayor Richard Thomas himself. It is with deep concern for my life that I feel that I inform you that as stated by my doctor, it would not be healthy for me to return to work at this time with such a hostile working environment. No one should have to work under these conditions.
Absolutely not.
Sorry about that. And that's what it is. I'm here tonight because this has to stop. I don't want to have somebody have to die because of stress, and because of behind closed doors that they're threatening you. I'm not going by what anybody else is telling me. This is not no rumors. This is factual stuff that happened to me. People that know me know that I don't bother anybody. I'm a team player, but I'm not going to do anything that's corrupt where I can go to jail, lose my freedom, or I can lose my job in that respect. I was marked. I feel I was marked from the beginning when the Thomas administration came in here, and the pressure was on. They started a race war inside City Hall, and I've been there for 27 years. Never, we had white commissioners, we had white, staff administration before. Never had a problem with that. But I call it like it is. I'm not going to be one of those people that's you can't use the race card. All right. Anyone that knows me knows that I don't play when it comes to that. But if you're going to listen, I'm old enough and I'm smart enough to know when somebody's discriminating against me. I get along with everybody that it's fine. But if you're going to be discriminating against me, guess what? I'm going to put it out there. And this started between a coworker and a commissioner. And from the beginning of the year, I made the mayor aware of it in April. Nothing was done to this day. I was carried out of City Hall by the paramedics. To this day, not one person from the administration or the mayor has even checked to see how I was doing. But yet they're trying to make sure that they find a way to get me off the job permanently, trying to find a way to fire me. And I'm supposed to sit back and let this happen. I'm sitting back, I'm watching all these things happen throughout the news conference and everything like that, and I see the family is getting worse. It's escalating. It's not getting better. People don't see this. I don't understand what it is. There's four people of his family members right now that have been involved in some kind of crime or assault, or some kind of threats. Anyway, and no one's doing anything about it. So you can't report it to the police. And I'm not saying all police are corrupt. I know those officers, the officers that were there the day that happened with me, did nothing to do anything to even stop it. To even stop it. So what does that tell you? There's some corrupt stuff going on. No one's ever heard me come out here and speaking like this, or have me come out and saying all this, even while I was going through it for this almost a year now. But enough is enough. I can't even be myself right now, even if I'm out here. I try to smile, try to do this, because when you work with children, you got to try to be out there, and you can't let them see you being depressed. It's. I'm not sitting here trying to make up stuff. I'm telling you factual stuff. All the documentation that I have and all the things that I listed with my attorney, it's factual. I have evidence with every aspect, whether discrimination, whether it's to prove that the mayor has something to do with this behind the scenes. I'm not saying it just because I want to say something nice or say something that sounds scary. It's factual.
Well, I
can prove.
I want to interrupt you real quick, and I know you're careful with the names, and maybe you have to be because of lawsuits or whatever.
Yes.
But I don't. So God bless you, gentleman Bob.
Yes. Okay.
What?
No, there's some make it's the fact that, like I said, when I first started this thing, when I went out, I filed first with the state, with the EEOC.
Okay.
And that's the Equal Employment Opportunity. Yeah. Right. And I filed with them, and the EEOC already given to my attorney to have a right to sue.
Okay.
Okay. And they're still investigating also. So there's merit to my case.
Right.
It's not me just saying it. You got the state saying it, and now we're going to have a federal judge say it. And that's what it says. So this is the kind of stuff that's happening behind closed doors. Most of the people in the public don't see it because they don't work behind the scenes.
Right.
We get the threats. We get bullied. And when the commissioner decided he was going to threaten to fire me because I won't drop my case, I felt I had to go public. And that's why I went public in October.
We have a member of our staff who had one or two incidents with the mayor and his family being threatened. So we know that's.
Yeah.
We know that is
it's
the
real.
case.
It's real. When people are outside, because he stands in front of the camera trying to sound all nice about things like that, but behind the scenes, everybody's being threatened, everybody's being intimidated.
It sounds like a real horrible situation that you went through, but without mentioning any names, can you give us an example of an incident that happened to you?
Okay. When it started out with the race war, one of the co-workers, which you'll find out if you look at my papers to find out the name, it started with me stating, before the commissioner even came in, because it was Commissioner Uzi came in. Oh, I said his name. Okay, Commissioner came into office in February, not in January. But the co-worker already started telling me that I'm in trouble because of the fact that we got a white commissioner coming in. And I'm like, we've had white commissioners before. It's no big deal. I do my job. I don't worry about anything I do. But he said it somehow with such confidence, like there was something that I felt I had to take notes. And I told him, I'm going to write these things down. They're making certain little comments, which I can't get into because it's actually in my case also. But That was the way. That was the starting of the race war. And then when the commissioner did come in, he showed his true self, and that's what happened. That's been from, and then I reported it to the mayor, tried to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was going to do something about it. Went in there, finally got. That was the. There was other attempts also trying to meet with him, but after that I got shut down. But I went in there, tried to speak to him about it. I did speak to him about it, and he states, and I'm going to say that part of it. He says to me, "Well, how long are you going to give me to take care of this?" I said, "Sooner than later." That was in April.
Fair enough.
This is 2017 now. Never heard nothing.
Because you even came to the city
I was-
council and spoke
Yes.
after some time had passed.
Yeah.
And I wanted
Yeah.
to say, and very importantly, there was an incident with the city council trying to defend the charter. Was having a residency requirement, a hearing, and one of the people was the DPW commissioner, who at the time lived somewhere in New Jersey.
Yes.
Who, and in addition to living in New Jersey, when he takes the company car and fills it up on Friday, so he have gas for the whole weekend, gas on the city, took the car and crashed it in New Jersey.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know whatever happened with all that, but this is the same individual that was one of the people that they were, the reason why we need residency requirements. You want people
Exactly.
that have the community's best interests at heart and are from the community and live in the community and interact with the community, not do what they're going to do and go back to New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? And as one of the council persons has said, I want my DPW commissioner to drive over the same potholes that I got to drive over. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
but go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. It was even worse than that because this commissioner, I couldn't even speak to him directly.
Wow.
He could be standing right next to me, like he'll stand here, and he got something to say to me. He'll call the other person that's involved in the case into the office to come out and tell me something. I can't even talk to him because what the other person said to me is that he says I'm not even worth his time. To talk to. So I got to go to a third party to actually talk to him. Yeah, how you figure that should feel? I'm the only one that's got to do that. Okay, like I said, there was other things that happened, and it's like.
Well, wasn't there a situation where there were people that answered to you that basically weren't listening to you and were going above you to do things and, kind of acting like you
what
didn't?
happened is I'm also the supervisor for community service people that get sent from the courts. And this individual, I'm not going to say the person's name, commissioner of DPW, had an issue with black community service workers. And I can't get into too much of that also, but he had an issue with them. And would tell them they have to go outside the building to wait for me, not even to be able to wait inside the office. And then he tells me I can't conduct the city business inside the office anymore. I got to do it outside, on the street. I'm like, why am I the only one that has to do that? So I said to him, what's going to happen next? In my letter that I put back out to the public because he was doing that to me, I said, what's going to happen next? The black people going to have to come through the back door? Are we going back in time? Is that what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's so sad. It's like, why am I being discriminated against? Why are you telling me that I got to go do this? I happen to be black, right? And then I'm the only one that has to do that. To the point where he insulted one of the community service people that they felt bad going outside and come back inside, try to talk to him. He tells them, Larry has no authority in this office. I'm supposed to say supervisor Larry Fair on the bottom of that. I don't want to say how I have no authority all of a sudden, but that's just the kind of stuff they try to break down your self-esteem, like you feel like you don't. But you know what? I'm too strong for that. So I take my notes and I do it that way. Reported it to the mayor. I'm not going to needless to say what happened with that.
Well, and I'd like to say again, that's when we have a problem, we're supposed to go to our leadership. We're supposed to go to the leaders of the city, the leaders of the police department, the leaders. When you can't get justice and when you can't get justification from the leader of your city, then what do? Then you're left to go to higher authorities.
Like I said, I did all the protocol. I went to Human Resources after I spoke to the mayor. Went to Human Resources, filed with them. Nothing was done.
Welcome, Roberta James, to the show.
Roberta, how are you tonight?
Nothing was done. I reported it to, like I said, I reported to Human Resources. Nothing was ever done. No conversation. No one met with me or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, it escalated even more so after I spoke to the mayor and everything. That's the retaliation and the threats and started even more, And then you got family members making threats to on social media to the DPW workers and whoever works for the city, and that's a known fact. That's on the sites. You know, this is what's so crazy. I'm not making this up. Everything is factual. Everything I say, you can look it up. You can look it up. Most of the stuff you're going to hear in court.
Yeah. So I just want to go back for a minute, Larry, just so we're clear about the sequence of events. So upon Mayor Thomas's election and I guess inauguration, one of your co-workers said that essentially that there's going to be a race war is imminent in City Hall.
New sheriff in town.
He said we're going to have a white commissioner coming in.
Okay. Can I ask, was this your colleague was a person of color, I assume?
He's a white person.
He's a white person?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you the reason why he had come to the conclusion that there was this sort of race war that was going to be an offing when the new commissioner arrives?
This individual, as the mayor likes to say, this individual. Let's just say this person always wanted to be my boss. I'm the first African American to have this position, okay? And he's always wanted to be a boss. He became the maintenance foreman. His thing, he's been in charge of all the buildings, and with the exception of City Hall, he's still in charge of it. But my routine, my thing was, the protocol was that they get calls from and needs from the people in the offices inside City Hall. They call DPW, they call me, and I go and assess the situation. If I can't handle it, then the maintenance foreman and his crew would try to handle it. If they can't handle it, then it goes to an outside source. That's the protocol. It can't be that he's my boss. They call him outside somewhere to call and tell me something. I'm in the building to go check something. So he hates the fact that he couldn't be my boss. And so he first started with saying, I'm going to be your boss now. And that's what started the whole thing from there. And now he's going to be my boss. And it doesn't work. It's not going to work that way. And that's what, and he got somehow, like I said, he said it with confidence. So it's like they had conversation about me prior to him coming in, the commissioner coming in. And true to color, they showed themselves. You know, and it's been constantly. Every time I go to work, I say, okay, I'm going to try to stay focused, do what I got to do. They would come harass me in some kind of way, and to try to get me either to respond by hitting them or something, or do. I mean, I'm not that stupid. I've got 27 years. You think I'm going to do something to give my job up like that? I'm not that kind of person. And anybody knows, if you ever see me upset, it took a while to get there. Because I'm not that sensitive. You call me a name, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to fight you. I'm not like that. But if you see me upset like that, which very few people see, you earn that. You know, that didn't happen overnight.
So this is a white coworker with whom you must have been there was some sort of tension, conflict.
We never really cared for each other because
you didn't really care.
I've always felt that he was racist.
Okay.
We never addressed it so much till this administration came in, because he felt like, oh, I got it now.
Yeah, he got
You know,
it.
I've been through several mayors, several administrations, black and white, so it wasn't any difference to me in that respect. But he felt too confident that behind the scenes he can do whatever he wants to do, and he was able to get away with what he wanted to. You know.
Right. So he threatened you. I mean, not that he did not threaten you. He promised that there was going to be a change in the racial order.
There was a new sheriff in town.
He told me his words was, he told me also, he and the commissioner are going to do whatever it takes to get me fired or thrown out of City Hall.
Okay.
That was just right out of his mouth.
Okay. And then there was a series of actions in which they tried to make good on their promise by
All the time.
refusing to allow you to speak directly to the commissioner, which most certainly is serious.
The commissioner came up with that himself.
Right.
He came up with that himself. And I wasn't worthy enough to talk to him directly. You know, and that's what it was. And that's what he tried to make me feel like, you know, like who are you to be talking to me? You know. And you know, this is the kind of thing, like I said, this is a day in and day out kind of thing. Whether even if they didn't say, it got to the point where they didn't even have to say anything every day, that you just tense thinking that what are they going to do to me today? Like I stated at the meeting, every day I come in, I say, okay, what are they going to do today? And just thinking about holding that in every day, like that. Like I said, I could have died that day when I got taken out. You know, I mean, it wasn't like, you know, they printed it up, made it seem like it's just to beat me up or something, because they said I went to the hospital afterwards. But let me tell you like this: it takes more strength to restrain yourself,
absolutely,
than to actually take action.
Absolutely.
You know,
Can I ask a question? Are you not working because of the situation and what it did to your health, or are you not working because of an action of the administration?
No, it's because of the whole action of the administration and because what it did to my health, especially what it did to my health.
But they haven't told you don't come back. I
No,
mean,
they-
well, obviously they tell you
Here's
get
the-
out,
here's the
but
thing, and I don't like to ever really quote rumors or anything like
Yeah.
that. But this is what I'm hearing from sources that they want to try to fire me when I come back anyway.
Oh,
You know,
that's not cool.
they already tried to move me somewhere else. I said, why should I get moved if I did nothing wrong? Handle the situation. Address the people you're the mayor. You have the authority to do so. Call us in all together or individually, find out what's going on, to leave Larry alone, let him do his job. I never asked for no special favors. I didn't say, oh, do this for me, I'll do that. I'd never do that. I'm not that kind of person. I don't kiss nobody's behind it. But let's put it that way. I don't do that because I believe butt kisses don't get any respect.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm proud to be a role model for the young people, and I lead by example. I don't do it just because I'm going to say nice in front of the mayor or whatever. I'm the same everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. I didn't know you when I used to say hi to you, all right?
Mm-hmm.
We just that's the way I am.
And it wasn't like I said. No, I wasn't getting no love, man. Like no love. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I was almost like, don't talk to him. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what people would do. They would say, "Don't talk to this person." But, listen, the person didn't do anything to me. I'm not going to go not talk to him because you don't want to talk to him. And that's what I've always been. I've never been worried about who I'm talking to, who they're going to
Good for
say
you.
I'm with.
Good for you.
And that's the way I was raised. You know.
I don't want to get into too much detail, but you did mention it's not like, sister beat you up or whatever. I know once the incident happened, I don't think I wrote a story because I keep telling everybody for every story I write, there's about 20 stories I didn't write. Mm-hmm. So I think I didn't write the story, but I did get a call from the sister who was, and I don't want to say pleaded her case, but she was like, AJ, it's not like what they're saying. Because I guess she was expecting me to come with like an explosive story. And I said, actually, I'm not really covering it. Not that I'm not covering, you know what I'm saying? I'm waiting to see what happens or whatever. But she was very clear that she never put her hands on you, that y'all just had a disagreement. She may have been a little hot-tempered or whatever, defending her brother or whatever. I mean, and that wasn't her word. That's my word interpreting whatever she said. You know what I'm saying? So she said she didn't do anything. She didn't threaten you. She didn't touch you or anything like that. And, because they were making it sound like she attacked you, like physically. You know what I'm saying? And I know the other brother was there too.
Preston.
Yeah.
Oops, I said his name.
Yeah. Well.
But that's kind of intimidating.
All right, we need to get you. The next time you come in here, bring your lawyer with you, man.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna.
No,
get,
I'm
I'm not
sure
gonna get
it's
into
in
that.
public record.
Everything is public.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
that's
public.
not public. The names are public already.
But I just
so-
wanted to say that because, she had this conversation with me as well.
Right.
And I wanted to clear that part up because that was such big of the rumor. Like, she physically assaulted you and then you went to the hospital like that.
I
Well,
want to
if her
say.
brother was there, that was pretty intimidating, though.
I also want to say that Jacine also called me. Jacine and I have been friends for a long time. Despite all the tension that has arisen over the past year or so, I do still value my friendship with Jacine. And I have to say, I mean, I have
She
worked.
still speaks to me when she
Yeah.
sees me too.
Well, it's like
I mean,
said,
and
I'm
I'm
not
not
trying to get
gonna
everybody hate because I have an issue. I tell people don't do that,
Right.
But we've been friends with her also.
Right.
Okay, not to the extent that some other people. We've been. She knows about our organization. We've done functions together.
Sure.
So we've known each other like
I
that.
would
So she
imagine.
knows that for her to even come up in my face, okay, and she could say whatever she wanted to say, because there's plenty of witnesses that were there. For her to come up in my face and threatening and calling me old head and whatever other words I'm not going to say on the air, and stuff like that, and her and her brother going off like that, and then to act like later on it wasn't that serious. I got carried out to the hospital, okay, because it was that serious. I didn't walk out of City Hall. I didn't say she beat me, but the way they put it out there made it seem like she kicked my behind and then I was taken out. No, because of the fact of my restraint, Listen, that's what happened. She can't act like it was nothing because maybe you were the one that was doing it. Maybe to the person you're doing it, maybe it means something more, And to come into my workplace, you and your brother, to come in my workplace threatening like this and to have nobody do anything to help you. Tell me again that you did nothing.
So Larry, can you explain to us exactly how this incident unfolded? Because, I mean, I've been in City Hall plenty. I used to see you around the front desk, right? You used to be positioned
all over the place. But I, myself and the cleaning lady, we came off the elevator on the first floor, in the rotunda, as they call it.
Yes.
Came off on the first floor. The brother was talking to Mr. George Brown, city clerk, and he was talking to him about me, and how someone won't let me do my business, city business inside the DPW, and also I'm like, why is he telling him anyway? Because he knows me. The brother knows me. He worked under me. As a matter of fact, he came out of. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that, but he worked under me inside City Hall before. Okay, and as soon as I was standing there talking to them, she came down from the mayor. So that's what everybody was telling me. 'Cause I had my back towards her, so she came in and putting her hands on my, started getting in my face and cursing and all kinds of stuff, talking about, you come after my brother, I'm coming after you. I meet you outside, and the whole thing is like that. And and the brother's going the same thing. So now everybody, it was so loud that people from the ground floor, people from the second floor came downstairs for it. The people come out of their office, everybody came out of it. Even
everybody in George Brown's office that was sitting in the office.
This was in the hallway.
No, I'm saying everybody in George Brown's office, because everybody called me.
Yeah.
Basically said that there was such, like, it sounded like a riot in the hallway.
Exactly, it was that bad.
That they came outside to be like, they peeked out to see what the hell was going on, because it sounded like a riot.
It was that bad.
Like, it was not two people, but a multitude of people.
And then the mayor's secretary / volunteer, she came out, so I know that his detail person stood down there, didn't do nothing. The person that was assigned to City Hall did nothing. The officer that was assigned to City, and it was the office person and the secretary, that ushered them out of the building. But then, of course, they went somewhere else to continue threatening someone else. I'm not going to mention the person's name, Maureen Walker, but that's the way they operate, and nothing was done. No cops came to stop it or anything. And this is what happened. This is what I'm saying. So if you can get away with that, broad daylight in front of everybody, then come back later and to say to somebody it wasn't that serious. Listen, right. And the thing about it, when I was carried out on November 3rd, I had 185 and 3/4 sick days. What does that tell you? I don't take off.
Wow.
Even in spite of what they were doing to me, I didn't start taking off until April when they were here. If you look at my track record, so that means I take my job very seriously, and I don't take off. You don't get that kind of days just because they just want to give it to you. So that tells you right there. This is what caused me to be out.
So by the calls that I got again, what was explained to me, I don't want to say one thing too, and the Bible says this. A lot of people mix up the word meekness for weakness, just because, and meekness is actually great power under control. It's not weakness. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And from what was explained to me by some of the people that you named that were there, and others who might not want their name mentioned, basically, you could see how bothered it was, how much it was bothering you. But being the man that you were, you're not the type to put your hand on a woman or really disrespect women. So you kind of like internalized it a little bit, and then you know what I'm saying, and that's probably what raised your blood pressure, whatever, and all that other stuff. It was the action, and then the action of not being able to actually do anything. You know what I'm saying, from how it was described to me from various players. You know what I'm saying?
It was like a delayed reaction because I didn't even realize, without saying too much, I couldn't even get an officer to take a statement that was there, that was on the scene. Okay, a detective knew me and said, no, you have to get a statement. He called over to the police station. 3 officers came over, took my statement inside the city clerk's office.
Right, I remember that.
Details. At that point, they noticed that I was having symptoms.
That's what Mr. Brown was explaining to me.
And then the whole thing was like, they scared me even more because they said, you're having a heart attack. They Googled it. One officer said to them, Google it. And they Googled it. Said, you're having a heart attack. That scared me even more. And I know everybody hears that when your left arm goes numb and stuff like my fingertips got numb on my left hand. I'm not a person that actually, I said, I'm going. Because now I'm thinking, okay, I'm dying right now. I'm getting ready to die because, I didn't even say, I was trying to talk to him, give him my statement and everything, and I didn't even know that I was going. They were noticing all the symptoms.
Right.
And that's what happened. Then the paramedics ended up taking me out,
And Mr. Brown called me right afterwards and told me everything you described, but in greater detail, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. And I haven't been back since because I can't even seem like I can even. I never thought I would feel that way about being in Mount Vernon. I love doing things with the kids. I love Mount Vernon still. It's I always say it's not Mount Vernon, it's the people. That ruin things. And usually it's a few people. It's not even like it's
not the city,
people,
right?
And that's what happens. So I'm not going to sit here and badmouth my Mount Vernon. I'm not going to do that. That's not what it's about. It's about what was done to me, the injustice that was done to me, and the discrimination that was done to me, and they cannot get away with it.
I want to you brought a guest to speak. I wanted to allow you to have some couple of words on the whole situation.
John Bruno.
Pull the mic to you, and would you like to say a couple of words?
Well, yes, I can tell you that I've known Larry for approximately 17 or 18 years, and I can tell you that he is a man of goodwill. He always sees the best in people, which is something that I used to tell him, let it come over on me, because I don't have that quality. And I do know, and I think we all know, that Larry is a man who gives back not only to the youth of Mount Vernon, but also at some nursing homes in Mount Vernon. And I think that's a rare quality, to have someone who cares about people the way he does. I cannot speak to what happened to Larry because I was not there.
Right.
But I find it disturbing that he had to go through a situation like this. And I do hope that he will get some relief and some satisfaction.
I want to ask you a question, because you said nursing homes, and I'm not sure, and we like to clear up things. What happened with Wahlberg? Is there something with Wahlberg? Because you used to do stuff with them. And
Wahlberg and I have a long history. I was an orphan at Wahlberg. Wahlberg, it's called the Wahlberg today. Wahlberg used to be called Wahlberg Orphan Farm School, and they had orphans there. It started out for the orphans of the Civil War time, and I was there since I was 5 years old. I lost my parents when I was very young, and I had a German lady that raised me. And one thing she taught me, or one of the things that she's taught me, is about, the first thing they start you out with, they teach you about self-respect. And she used to say, do what you say you're going to do, and keep your word. Build and protect your reputation. And that's the foundation I live off of today. And that's why I don't ever try and talk about race, because we grew up with all different nationalities at the orphanage. I got my Chinese brother, and I say that to him because we say we're all right saying that, because the people say, that's discrimination when you say the Chinese. No, he says my black brother, so I can say my Chinese brother. Right. And we have white guys, black, Puerto Rican, whatever. So we grew up in that kind of environment. So that helped me today when I started my organization because of the Wahlberg, because of the fact that they taught me that and gave me that foundation and that base to do that kind of thing. I'm born in Harlem. I'm from Harlem. Our family, like I said, my older brother knew about somebody that knew about the Wahlberg, came in through a church there. And that's how we were there. Got to Wahlberg with dirt roads and everything. It was like never seen like that before, that country. And so since that happened, in 2008, actually 2010 is actually when I partnered with the Wahlberg with the Intergenerational Festival. I came up with the Intergenerational Festival to have the youth be able to interact with seniors and vice versa. Because when the children, the seniors tend to reminisce about their life, and kids get to learn about them. Otherwise, you won't respect them on the street.
Right.
So if you get to interact with them and stuff like that, the Wahlberg's always partnered with us. The Wahlberg's been there for us, and we've had festivals with them. We couldn't do anything this year with them because of all the stuff that's happening. In September, we were supposed to do games with them, but this administration, listen, we partnered with the city in 2010. Approval to the council and everything like that, and we got so we had shared rooms downstairs with recreation department inside the basement of City Hall and stuff like that. Since I've been out, they've changed the locks and thrown all my stuff out for Future Society that they had there. Now that's low, because all the stuff says Future Society on it. They know it's for the kids, so they change the locks and they throw stuff out, and some of the stuff they still have hostage there, But we couldn't even do the games and activities. We have done nothing this year other than fishing trips, because we can handpick who we want to put in.
the fishing trips.
We can handpick those people because we don't trust them. Because they even said, I'm not going to mention the person's name, but the mayor's brother threatened on one of his shows, said, Larry, we're watching the Future Society. What do you think that means? We weren't doing any activities or nothing, so what do you mean you're watching us? So you don't want to put anybody in danger. So we kind of backed off with things and stuff like that, because listen, I care about what happens with these young people. I care about, and they need to be positive role models that's going to show them the right thing to do. Not you have to bully your way to do things, and you allow it and disrespect to get what you want, and that's the way they're leading. You don't lead like that, But if the leader leads like with intimidation, then everybody else is going to lead with intimidation.
Absolutely.
Because you can't have a gang member, you know, that's real tough, and then have all his gang members say, listen, I want you to go rob that person. They go, please, can I have your purse, please? It's not gonna work that way. So if you're I almost said the corrupt thing. Oh, did I say it? Oh, okay. So, but if you're leading by intimidation, then the rest of your people are going to lead by intimidation.
Well, I mean,
you're going to be all right with it.
Case in point, I mean, numbers, Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So the year before Mayor Thomas took office, there were 2 to 4 homicides that year. The year since Mayor Thomas took over, there have been 18 plus homicides each year. And I've often said, and I've said this to Mayor Thomas, I've said to the city council, I've said this to Maureen, when the kids see the civil war going on in City Hall, and they see that's how you behave, and you are the leaders, what does that say to them on the street?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So you are leading by example, even if it's a bad way. You understand what I'm saying? And you are.
Were you there that day? I spoke at the council, and I said that to the council. Because I watched the people coming in being disrespectful to the council and cursing them and yelling and all kinds of. And I said, okay, fine. People are passionate about what they do. But I stood up there and I said that they shouldn't have to do. I can't bring the kids there to see how the system works.
Right.
When I don't know what you guys are going to do.
Right.
And this is people, somebody that's on the council being disrespectful just the same way.
You're right.
And I'm saying, if you can't show order and that kind of respect, how are you going to teach the children? You're showing them this is okay. And then one of the person said to me, well, they should be able to come in and speak their minds. I didn't say they shouldn't.
Right.
They don't have to be disrespectful about it.
Right.
When they talk personal and things like that.
And then when they do complain, the city councilman should tell them, well, if you don't like it here, you can sell your house and move. We don't want you here. I'm saying?
It's crazy, you know. And the thing about when I spoke that night, listen, I keep hearing that the council can't really do too much. Okay. But you have it on record, and you go for it. You have to put it on record. At least you do that, you know. Right. And you hope that you can get something out of it in that respect. But at the same time, for them to come up there, if you come in there and you curse the council person out or whatever like that, who in their mind was going to do anything for you if you curse somebody
even
out?
if they can't help you, right?
Even if they could help you,
right?
It's like you can't. It doesn't work that way. I'm not saying you got to kiss anybody behind.
But there's a way of going about, and there's a way.
And I get into something with somebody. I tell people I can tell you off without cursing you out.
Yes.
You know, that's the way I look at it. You're like,
my former pastor in Georgia, he had this way of. He doesn't like the way I express it though. He had this way of saying "F you" in Christian. That's how I put it. And I actually took his Christian leadership class just for that reason, because I wanted to learn how to say that. Now, that's probably the first time he's actually heard me say it. I've said it to everybody else, but he had a way. You would leave, and you'd be like, "Yo, did he handle me?" And you'd be home.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He's like,
exactly.
"Yo, the pastor just handled me."
That's
like,
the way you leave.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to leave them with their mouth open. They're like, "Did he just tell me off?
Yeah.
Did he just?"
So, moving forward, so you've done everything. You've dotted the I's, you crossed the T's, you took your notes, you filed your notice of claim. Did you start the lawsuit? Did you filed the suit already?
Yes, in court.
Okay, it's in court right now.
Yes.
So what are you hoping to the outcome to be? What are you hoping to go from here? Where are you hoping to go
First
from here?
of all, I'm hoping to live a long time.
Okay,
because
we hope you do too.
I didn't have this. I didn't have a condition like this. You never heard me stutter. Now I get into things, and I'm not myself.
Right.
So whatever happened that they changed me for the rest of my life. I'm hoping not the rest of my life, you know. And but my whole thing is, they should. No one should have to live like this.
Right.
No one should have to work under this kind of condition like that, and then to act like nothing happened, like nothing happened. Like I said, if I don't speak, I feel like my life meant nothing. Right. You know, and it has to be justice served, and it has to be something where the point where you'll never do this to anybody again.
Right.
And that's the way it has to be. You know, yes, it's about me because what happened with me and all kinds of stuff like that. But they should never have to be allowed to do this to anybody. And I don't want to sweep it under the rug.
And hopefully, I'm hoping, because one of the biggest problems is with everything that goes on, most people are scared to speak on the record. Right. So people will tell me stuff, they're like, "Oh, but you can't use my name, though." They're scared to speak. I'm hoping that in your journey here, you will empower other people to speak up.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Because until the people speak up,
right.
And it's the people that have the power, because we way outnumber the elected official who we put in office. But you understand what I'm saying?
But let me answer that. To the people that don't speak or can't speak up for whatever the reason is, I don't judge them.
Oh no! There's
the
some
retaliation
people,
is real.
It
because they're doing
is.
it to me.
Well,
Okay, so
it's happened to
when people
members
speak
of
me-
our show
right,
too.
People speak to me. I say, listen, I understand. Listen, I can't go. I can't afford to lose my job because that's what they do. That's what. How long can you go without your check? That's what they say to you.
Right.
You know, and this is what they do, and a lot of people can't afford it. So I don't blame nobody.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said at the meeting council meeting, I'll be your voice.
But you know, the other thing is though, when 30, 40, 50, 60 people, they can't fire everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like
you
if
have to
everybody
get
in the
those people together,
right, if everybody in the NFL take a knee, they can't have no games if they fire everybody. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't punish everybody.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
you know?
but-
And we try to get that kind of unity. And I think another thing is what I'm saying, and maybe me personally, you know, and I don't think I'm wrong with this either. They're trying to make an example out of me because I tell people what their rights are, and that's what it is. So if they could take me down, they're like, oh, we got Larry, you know. So now what y'all gonna do?
So that shuts
You know?
that shuts anybody else who may grow.
Because I'll tell them what their rights are. I tell them read the contract. If they don't want to read it, I'll read it to them. And this man over here, he's the one that taught me all that. You know?
Can I make a point, please, AJ?
Yeah.
There's something that I would just want to say to our listeners. I don't think that is always appreciated, but one of the elements of American democracy is a respect for norms of personal conduct that make civility, especially in political matters, of paramount importance. The reality is, and I am sad to say this, the reality is that we have overwhelming evidence from testimony of various kinds, things that I have personally observed, that Mayor Thomas seems to be oblivious of this requirement. Part of the norm of democratic civility means that when you encounter your opponents on the street, you are courteous if you can be, or you simply ignore them if you don't have anything nice to say. But what you do not do is you do not go out of your way to confront them. And I want to remind everyone in the city of Mount Vernon who finds themselves at to be mindful of this, because this is true for me, this is true for AJ, it's true for Lorraine. It's also true for the ardent supporters of the mayor who may feel the urge to come to the mayor's defense because he is being criticized. And criticism is a legitimate part of political debate, everyone. Let's be clear. Mayor Thomas is easily the single most powerful figure in the city of Mount Vernon. He has tremendous resources in the way of security to protect him should anyone ever pose a threat to him.
He controls the police department. And the man, whoever controls the police department, controls everything.
And
Controls
the mayor has,
So after that, right?
No.
but he also has an incredible legal, arsenal that's behind him, and readily does his bidding. Will certainly be in the courts to ensure that the mayor's, what he perceives as his power and authority, is in no way curtailed. So there's really no need for anyone to, and I understand. You want me to tell you what, I'm going to be honest. If that were my brother, I'd probably be inclined to come to his defense as well. And so I really do understand why members of the family might be upset, especially if they themselves haven't personally witnessed some of the alleged behavior and think that their brother's being mischaracterized and unfairly criticized. I truly understand. But I think it's a mistake, and it is only going to make matters worse should people continue to come to the aid of the mayor. There's no need. It's a normal part of political discourse. If you don't like the criticism that the mayor's receiving, I invite anyone. Now, I write in the paper regularly, so any criticism I'm going to make, and I encourage everyone to speak in their name, don't hide, and I'm pretty sure that Black Westchester will welcome rebuttals. Hey, let's work through this, because in the end, none of us are infallible. I know I've made a very strong case about various issues that I thought the mayor, acted wrongly in. But I'm not a lawyer. Maybe I'm mistaken. If you can, write a good article and shed light and put forth an alternative view, welcome. And the mayor can have his lawyers and so many people on the city, staff kind of pen articles and help him to shape the public discourse. But the last thing you want to do, let's have a confrontation of ideas. Let us not have a confrontation of persons. We're all going to do a lot better.
Right.
And if we refrain from that, and I have to say, I give this make this reminder to the family members of the mayor, with whom I've had a long, loving relationship that goes well, much earlier than any of this stuff. And so I hope we find a way to avoid these kind of conflicts that put valued members of the city in jeopardy and, undermine their health, but also, just unsettle affairs in the city more generally and make the city itself vulnerable to suits.
We have a couple of Councilwoman, White Plains Councilwoman Nadine Hunt Robinson said, "Thank you for sharing the history of the Walpurg." John R. Jones Jr. said, "Always got your back, Larry. We will fight the fight for you, my friend."
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, in closing, is there anything you want to tell people?
Let me clear something up also. I don't know if I made it any worse. I know a lot of the police officers. I watched them get sworn in over the years, being inside City Hall for 18 years inside City Hall, and I respect them and they respect me. So this is not by no means me badgering the police department. I know the ones that were on the scene did nothing. That's the ones I'm going after, as far as making a statement. But the rest of the police department, they've always been respectful to me. I've been respectful to them. We always stop and say hi, no matter what color. We don't go by that kind of thing. A lot of them are involved in these community groups, also helping out with the youth. So we've done things together, National Night Out and all kinds of things like that. So it's not about that. And like I said, I'm not here to say, I'm hating the mayor, I'm hating people like that. I hate what's been done to me. This is what I hate, the injustice that's been done to me. I'm not a person that sits back and can just take it. I may not have been up there every day in front of everybody's face and everybody's camera and trying to talk to everybody, because you know what? I'm doing my homework. I'm making sure that I do everything the right way, because this cannot continue. This abuse of power that's going on with this administration, it cannot continue. I could have easily have died that day. And let me tell you, are we going to really wait till someone dies because of this? And this is that. I've never even known that stress could be this bad. I never even known that it could be this bad. But you know what? I'm living it every day, and I'm trying to smile and try to be myself as much as I can. I can't go in the same circles anymore. I can't do this. I gotta watch out for this. I gotta watch out for that. Never had.
You're not the only one who feels that way.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of thing. But when you say something, you speak out like it's, you just don't like this administration, or you didn't vote for this person. Listen, I vote as a person. I don't try to go by whether I voted for you or not. You're the new person in the seat. I respect the person that's in the seat. But I'm not going to do anything criminal. I'm not going to let you disrespect me. I'm not going to let you discriminate and get me. That is not what I'm going to do. That's not what I'm about. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm standing up for that kind of stuff and what they did to me. I have a health condition now which I'd never had before. And let me tell you something. It doesn't feel good. And the people can smile and tell me, I know people can come out of this thing and be like, he just hates the change or whatever. Listen, I've had change every time they change administration. I've had change all. In fact, I've embraced the change coming here until they decided the change was more than I can handle as far as the disrespect and the discrimination. I'm sorry, I'm getting up there again. I'm sorry. This is what I'm saying. I can no longer sit back and just let this thing happen. We're going to have our day in court, and we go from there, and justice will be served.
I applaud you for stepping forward. I applaud you for your, again, there's a lot of people that, and rightfully so, there's a lot of officers that won't speak up because of their job. You know what I'm saying? There's
I had some officers talk to me on the side. I can't go public.
They talk to me too.
I got you.
They talk to me on the side. They make sure nobody's looking. But But there's a lot of city hall workers who can't speak up.
Oh yeah.
I do want to say one thing though, and it's not to let the current mayor off the hook. Retaliatory government is not exclusive to Richard Thomas, because Davis was definitely, ruled by the iron hand, and you wasn't doing his bidding, and you was.
But you know what?
You know what I'm saying? But I just want to say, it wasn't his family members, but he did have his supporters that also were strong-willed as well. So I'm not saying that to excuse the current mayor, because you know what I'm saying. This is family members and all that. But I just want to say this is not exclusive to him, though.
But if I had gone, if they had discriminated the way this things happen to me, I'd have reported anybody that's there. It's not I'm just doing it because it just happens to be his administration and his administration. I would do it the same way with anybody else. I don't care what color you are, whatever it is, or who the person is. I don't favor anybody because I've known Davis through all his terms, you know, Clinton's terms, and you know, and the mayor's known me prior to him becoming mayor. When he was on the council, he's come to our events and everything like that. He was supportive at one point.
Absolutely.
You know, and we saw the change.
Right.
You know, so I didn't change.
Right.
We didn't change. The organization's still the same. We're still the same people. But
So-
somehow, when power gets involved, you know, this is what happens.
So what do you any advice for anybody else, not just about Vernon, but you know, listening that they may be dealing with this in Peekskill or Yonkers or something. You know, just any, you know.
My advice to anybody like this, and I know I tell people all the time, you have to be able to afford to be out. You know, because
Yes.
you have to really be. Fortunately, you know, I have a very good support system. My wife, you know, a very good support system. I put it up there all the time. You know, if it wasn't for her, I don't even know if I could even have the courage to do this. Because let me tell you something. She seen me cry. Okay, so as long as you cry, you stay with that person. You don't want to tell her nobody. You know, she said it was the ugly cry too. But anyway, but the thing is, I'm saying her and people like John Bruno that have your back all the time and supportive. Because like I said, I'm the same everywhere I go. And this is the kind of thing. I want people out there that don't have a voice or feel like they don't have a voice to know that, yes, you can stand your ground. And yes, I understand retaliation is real because it's happening to me. But at the same time, once you see that, like I'm doing right now, you can join in with me. And once you do file against somebody, let's know this. When you file charges with HR against someone because they did you wrong in discrimination or whatever they did, you have now a reason for them to be afraid because now you can say this is retaliation against you. So you should be encouraged to file. And yes, I'm sorry that they retaliate against you, but sometimes you have to try to think above that because the long haul, justice will be served. We can help, but hopefully, like I said, there's a lot of people that call me from DPW now and even before, telling me what was happening. You know, and I'm telling them I believe you because it's happening to me. So I know they're not making it up. I know they're not just trying to be mad at the mayor or whatever like that. And this is the kind of things they call me for. And like I said, because I can tell them what their rights are, so they don't like that. You know, so the word is out. I guess I was marked, and that's what it is. But I'm going to handle it. You know.
Well, you are well respected and well loved in the city of Mount Vernon and in the streets of Mount Vernon. Just so you know, my phone didn't stop ringing when the incident happened. People have called me constantly to find out where things are with you. And I said, I guess we all know when it's time to know. You know, so people are concerned, and I'm hoping that a lot of people will hear this and get to hear from you. And I, again, thank you for taking the time to, you know, come through and using us as, you know, the model that you wanted to speak through first. Like,
well, thank
I
you
greatly
for
appreciate that.
Thank you for inviting us. You know, you from the beginning, you've always, like you said, you've always been saying, you know, when you're ready to talk. And I told you.
I went and told your wife too. I gave her the card.
Right.
Just in case you lose it, just here's my card.
You know.
And we want to thank everybody for their love and support too. When we've been going through it, and when it initially happened, we really want to thank everybody for reaching out, council people, assemblymen, you know, community service workers he worked with, like everybody across the board. You know, Larry knows everybody across the board. We really want to say a big thank you and give a shout out to all of them for their continued support as well. Walkberg and all the other fractions.
And those people that also speak to me behind the scenes and can't come forward, you know, I hear you, you know, and I feel for you. And I want to thank you guys for even being able to talk about it. Sometimes it just helps just to talk to somebody and to get through it. And even though the person can't directly do anything to help you, sometimes just getting it out and talking to somebody is a big help, you know, because if I had my wife to talk to and this guy over there or on the end to be able to just sound things off to, you know, just to get that little bit of stress out, you know, I probably would have dropped that, you know, and I'm not trying to sound cold with it, but, you know, it's that serious. And maybe I've been serious to somebody else that said that it wasn't that serious, but to me, it's serious. But before I go, I mean, Mr. A.J., I'd like to give you a copy of what you can put into your paper and also the copy of the court papers.
Okay.
So you see that it was filed.
Okay.
And right now they're trying to move the venue right now from the Bronx to Westchester.
Okay.
And so that's where we stand with that right now.
And just like I said again, thank you for coming through. And I just want to say, everybody who's listening, everybody who got love for this brother, we have to continue to support him. You understand what I'm saying? Like his journey is just beginning, and we don't know where this is going to lead, what's going to happen. And sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone to support others. So if you got love for him, you got the support. This is your time to show it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to need, through this journey, he's going to need all of our support. So, I just want to say that out there. You don't think, oh, he's straight, he got the lawsuit, it's all good. It's not all good. You know what I'm saying? He got a ways to go, and he needs all of us. So, I hope we rally around him and others that are in need. The way the city does, the way the city knows how to. You know what I'm saying? The way the city has done for so many others. So that's all I wanted to say, and I thank you again for coming. The letter to the editor will be in the November issue, so drop around the 27th or 28th of this month. I'm here. You got my number. Whatever we can do, whatever updates you want to give to the people, whether come here or tell me for the paper or the website, we definitely got you.
Thank you. Yeah. There definitely will be a follow-up, and we're going to try to keep everybody up to date with what's going on as we can, what we can give out without jeopardizing our case or anything like that. But it's important that people know that this is not easy. It's not easy. Emotionally, physically, it's a lot. It takes a lot out. I may sound like sometimes I'm smiling in and out, sometimes like that, but I'm not myself.
I can see the difference, and from the little bit that I do know you, and I see I do see the comical side of you trying to come out in spurts. But it's not. But I've seen, we've been outside of City Hall and places, and I've seen the other side of you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, you a laugh a minute. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So.
And it's sad because you can't work with the children because they said they feel it also.
Right.
When you don't project that, And let me tell you something about that. My organization was hurt because of this. Also, actually destroyed because of it. For temporary, we get back on our feet. Not just because they threw the stuff out, but because of the fact is, my organization, the Future Society, was mainly financed through my overtime. Anything I made above my salary, I gave back to the kids. And I can tell you penny for penny, because the fact is, you check my taxes, public record, and check taxes, how much I donate, and you see it's well over the amount of overtime that I make. Right. And that's why I was fighting for them taking my work away and giving it to other people and doing stuff like that. Because it's taken from the children. Not just me. I'm not saying I'm rich, but you know what? I'm better off than a lot of people. And a lot of people would be happy to trade places with me in that respect. So I don't look at it like I'm the best and I got everything, all the answers. And I'm like, but someone that we touch, maybe we take them fishing, maybe we take them hiking, we play the obstacle course with them like that. That could change their life.
Absolutely.
So every little thing that you do. So this is what I'm saying. They hurt more than just me. Right. They hurt the community. Right. And so it's more than that. It's not just about me. I've never talked to them here saying it's just about me, just about me. This is about the community, the children that they're hurting, and they say they're for the kids and all that. Yeah, you do these fun little things, but we were totally for Mount Vernon because I believe in taking care of your own backyard.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's other worthy charities and stuff like that, but I'm gonna donate to my own community.
So let me stop you real quick. For those who are listening and they want to support, and they might want to make a donation to help you get back to where you were. How would they go about doing that?
Well, there's a problem with that right now. The situation, because of the pending cases that we have right now, it's really difficult for us to do anything safely in Mount Vernon. Okay. So we have to pull back right now. Okay. Because you can see right now with the mayor's family being out of control. We on News 12, all over the place, you know what I mean? Right. So can you imagine the tension that we would have just trying to contain something that, you understand?
Well, when you're ready, when we get ready, let us know happy. So we can help. With that drive to bring attention to it.
Like I said, we're gonna be just more selective what we do in that respect. But we're never gonna stop doing what we do for kids. And that's because listen, they need that positive. I'm proud to be a dark-skinned black man role model. Now I gotta say it like that too.
No,
because
absolutely.
The fact is, there's not a lot of us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm consistent with the way we are. And let me tell you something. We out there with the children, we never put anybody on blast. If they don't act right, we listen, no, we're not having that. We keep it moving. And that's the way it works. People ask, how do you guys deal with hundreds of kids at the same time like that? Because we have a no tolerance kind of, for garbage. And they learn that everything we do is a lesson. Like you want about the pants pulling up. Now we time them with the game. Next time you know, they come up with a belt.
Right.
So everything you got to have a way to do things without having to offend them in any kind of way.
Absolutely.
But you have fun with it.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's about. So we're not gonna go away. We're not gonna go away in that respect. It's just hurting right now financially in that respect because that's what I based it on. And that's what it is. And people give, and we have people that give. I'm not gonna let them have their moments. So they do come through. A lot of parents want to help out. They want to continue these things.
And I want to applaud your wife, because we can't do these things without the power, without the support, without the strength of the women in our lives. Sometimes it might be a mother or sister, your wife or whatever, but we can't do these things. We can't do it by ourselves. Like, y'all are our backbone. Like, you know what I'm saying? They say the man is the head. Well, the woman's the neck, and the head can't go nowhere without the neck. So you know what I'm saying?
That's a lie. You're not in charge of nothing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I want to applaud you for your support, and what this toll has put on you, which is probably a side of the story that's never told. You understand what I'm saying? And I just want to acknowledge that. And keep strong for him, And
I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep it together. We're a team. We're in it together.
Yeah, we're definitely a team. That's true.
All right.
But thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Thank you everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you all in the studio, and certainly we look forward to an update of some kind at the appropriate time.
Thank you.
And we wish you a lot of luck and many blessings too.
We'll take all the blessings we can get. So thank you. Till next time.
All right. We're going to get into our next guest right now. We want to thank our brother Larry Fair for coming through. Like I said, this is the first time he spoke on the situation since it's happened. No one has heard from him. No one has heard from his perspective. And that was very important. I'm glad that he came here and decided to speak to us first. We will let you know what's going on. We will keep you updated. We will follow this all the way through with the radio show and the newspaper. We will keep you updated and let you know what's going on. We got our next guest coming in the studio right now. She got a story to tell.
Uh-oh. Another special guest?
Yes. She has a story to tell. My brother, let me shake your hand.
All right now.
All right.
Where am I sitting?
Holler at me and
Anywhere you want.
follow up. All right.
I want to sit next to you because you're powerful.
There we go. And if you're just tuning in, you are listening to and watching BlackWestchester.com presents the People Before Politics radio show. We're on every Sunday, 6 to 8, on InTheMixRadio.com, giving you real talk for the community. Now, a lot of things we've been doing lately because it's the political season. You've seen politics coming in and out of here, telling you why you should vote for them and why you shouldn't vote for their competitors or the person they're running against. And it's good to get back to stories, real stories in the community. And, Larry Fair was definitely that. And our next guest, Caitlin Gleason, is here to speak about the soup kitchen.
Hey, everybody.
Caitlin, how are
Hi.
you today, Caitlin?
I'm good. I'm here as Caitlin Gleason, as an independent volunteer for Community Service Associates, Inc., which operates the soup kitchen in the city of Mount Vernon. And the reason why I'm here independent is because I am the president of the board, but I did not have a chance within the last 12 hours to really discuss it with the rest of my board. But I think that I need to get the message out to the greater Westchester County because we're at a crossroads at the soup kitchen. We've gone through some trauma within the last 2 years, losing our place for the last 20 years, which was at Sacred Heart Church. The Archdiocese could no longer house us there, so we were very lucky to be able to get a home at the Mount Vernon Armory. Now, getting the home at the Mount Vernon Armory, we had to pay rent to the city of Mount Vernon, which, it is, you have to do that. We can't expect people to continually just give us things and hope that, we can continue. But we've had some major blows, like within the last 2 years. Like I said, we've had some major funding cut from the county, although we've had a great advocate in legislator Lyndon Williams to help us get as much money as he could possibly get for us. And then within the last 6 months, the city of Mount Vernon cut a major part of our funding. I mean, it started when Mayor Thomas first took office. We went from getting between $40,000 and $60,000 a year to getting $20,000 a year to now this year getting absolutely nothing. And the explanation was given to us that there was a conflict of interest because the director of our program happens to serve as a city council member, but also serves as the city council president of the city of Mount Vernon. And in my opinion, it's another retaliatory situation where the money was taken away from us because of her being so outspoken against the mayor of Mount Vernon. But in my opinion, the two are completely separate. You can't hold a carrot over somebody's head and tell them you have to do what I say to do. Don't talk against me, otherwise I'm going to take funding from you. Now, anything could happen now. I could go tomorrow and we could have no home at the Armory. This is how it works, okay? And in the meantime, last year, when they took the funding away, you know, we had to come up with more creative ways of getting money into the soup kitchen, and we did. And we did it by the grace of God because so many people heard about our situation and generously gave at a dinner that we threw last year.
Now, I was there, and I know the mayor came up on stage, and he was talking to you, and I almost think even after all of that, he vowed to give, I don't know, amount of maybe $5,000 out of his own pocket.
Yes,
to the
by
soup kitchen.
August of 2016. I was supposed to get it by the last week of August 2016. Went to a function at Maggie Spillane's for a local judge who had gotten elected. He took me aside. He said I'd absolutely be getting money out of his personal pocket, $5,000. Never received those funds.
Ooh.
He probably left a checkbook in the car. He got you.
Yeah.
No.
That's
So
not very
you
nice.
actually, I just wanted to, so you did not see, because I saw him on stage say yes.
Yeah.
Like at
He did.
what was
He
that, in the
said it
Rochelle?
several
In the
times.
Rochelle. At
Yep,
the,
at the surf club.
yeah, the surf club. I saw him specifically say that, you know, he would give out his own pocket. You know, so.
Yeah,
And you know, not knowing anything, we thought he did. Because
No.
he said, you
No.
know.
And honestly, I've kind of waited for the last year, not going to the media to speak on it, hoping that the situation would change, and it hasn't changed. And now to be basically slapped in the face telling us that there's a conflict of interest, the person that delivered that message is actually a consultant for the city of Mount Vernon, not an employee of the city of Mount Vernon. And as an employee, Danielle Scholar sat there and explained to those same consultants that we had a waiver from 2010 that basically allows Roberta to be director, receive the CDBG grant, funds, as long as she recused herself from anything that came to the city council. But the CDBG grant, funds don't go to the city council.
So let me ask you,
So-
what is the CBGB funds?
It's
What
the
is that?
Community Development Block Grant. And this year, in the budget for the CDBG grant, just to give you an idea, that $700,000+ was earmarked for streetlights. Now, I'm not saying that the city of Mount Vernon doesn't need streetlights or upgrading of streetlights. And I'm not saying that any other program in the city of Mount Vernon, I'm not saying that they don't deserve to get some of the money that was in that CDBG grant. But to cut us out completely is outrageous.
Well, you got Joel. He cut the Razorbacks. at one
Wyckoff.
point. And the Razorbacks. I was a little concerned about the Razorbacks.
But I think
Because-
the Razorbacks got some.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Because there was a big pushback.
Right.
Because he campaigned on being a Razorback.
Right.
Like he, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So that kind of.
Does the city council president vote on the entire budget when it gets passed?
Yes, it does.
So then how is that not a conflict of interest?
Because the
If she
CDBG
recuses-
does not.
The CDBG is
It's
part
federally
of,
funded.
but it's still part of the city budget.
I don't think the CDBG is part of the city budget. That's a separate federal grant, if I'm not mistaken.
And when it and if they're gonna give CDBG money to an organization such as yours,
It
does
doesn't
it
come
go?
to the city council.
It doesn't go for approval.
No, it's actually the mayor puts together a panel of people, Okay, they give you the classes on the CDBG, show you how to do the application, and then it's actually his people who decide on where the funding goes.
Got it.
So it's not, and even when we did a car show, you know, we're very lucky that the shift masters of Westchester have been very generous. They came to us, they wanted to help us out. They put their money up to do the car show up in the Fleetwood section of Mount Vernon, and in doing that, she even recused herself from any vote at the city council in regards to that.
What monies did she recuse herself from?
When it
That,
comes
what, that, yeah, what money did for?
there's no money
the
that
program?
comes to the city council for her to approve for the city
So what is
kitchen.
she recusing herself from?
Well, from like the vote, like because it's involved our soup kitchen, she recused herself because it would benefit the soup kitchen. That's the only thing that's ever come to the city council.
The money
in
from
regards to
the
that.
money from the
Well, there's no money.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just that you have to go to the city council to basically get an approval to shut down the roads.
right, because you shut
Yeah.
down
So
like 4 or 5 blocks.
yeah, so she removed herself from
From
that
that
vote.
vote.
And that's like the only thing that's ever came.
Not nothing dealing with money per se.
No,
Okay.
no money whatsoever.
All right.
And I just say, I don't know if you've met Lorraine. She is a former Yonkers city councilwoman.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so you know that's probably why she's speaking on certain.
No.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
totally understand.
A listener, D. Wilson said the mayor took money (parentheses funding) that helps feed the homeless and the hungry residents of Mount
That's
Vernon.
sad.
Capital letters. Wow. Then she said that's some real dirty shit.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Well, here's where the problem lies, is that I have a letter from HUD from 2010 that basically relieves Roberta of any conflict of interest.
Yeah, we all read it on the way. We read it.
Somebody had posted on Facebook one night, how do you cure the homelessness of Mount Vernon? And I'm paraphrasing. Okay, so I wrote, well, the first thing you don't do is you don't cut funding to feeding the hungry of the city of Mount Vernon. And the mayor then in turn said that HUD came to them, sent them notification that there was a conflict of interest that remained. Now, I have a letter from 2010. If he has a letter that we have been requesting, by all means, send it to us so that we could properly fight for what is rightfully deserving of community service associates. It's ridiculous at this point. I sat back for the last 18 months, 20 months, okay, trying to be a team player with everybody, trying to turn around and calm, you know, people getting upset, you know, me running from one place to another to try and get money. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is a completely deserving organization that feeds between 60 and 75 people a night. Now, I'm going to make you listen to this one, okay? When we were at Sacred Heart, we did maybe about 50, 60, okay? Right now at the Armory, we're seeing 75 to 100 people every single night. And we had to cut one program. We had to cut the breakfast program, okay? So now what we do is we prepare brown bag lunches, okay? So that after they have their meal, they have a brown bag lunch that they leave with. All right? And we're talking 75 to 100 people. It has increased. We thought it would decrease. But it's only a few blocks. It's about 4 blocks away from where we were. It has increased. Now, there's no staff in the planning department to even try and help, because the one person who was very familiar, Danielle Scholar, all of a sudden is no longer there. After speaking up on behalf of us, trying to tell these consultants that there is a waiver. And then the next day she's no longer there.
It's Roberta?
Yeah.
Is she gonna stay? Is she gonna be in the council after?
No, she's retiring this year.
Did they say that you guys can request some monies?
I think when somebody was yelling at him outside of the police station, that they said, "What about the money for the hungry?" And he had, and again I'm paraphrasing, he said, "Well, maybe we'll revisit it when she's no longer on the council."
Yelling at him
So.
outside.
Maybe.
We'll
So
ever
why you
have
stop
that.
funding for the soup
that
kitchen,
shows
for the
exactly-
homeless people,
because they-
but you want to
back
rent?
to the sewage kitchen.
Get
I
out
mean, that's
of
the
here!
soup kitchen.
Get
The
out
federal
of
government
here!
said we can't give it
Get
until
out
council
of
president
here!
approves it, so we're going to council
Get
president.
out
If
of
you want to
here!
step down today, we'll make them aware of that. We'll plan
So,
it.
now you see, if she wants to step down today,
Yeah, but there's more to that
if she
story.
wants to step down today,
Can't give it until
now what does that sound like to you guys? If she wants to step down today,
That wasn't even a guarantee of money.
I'll dangle the carrot in front of your face. Step down today, and I will see what I could do to get you the money. It's not fair. I have to be an advocate for people who are sleeping on the streets of the city of Mount Vernon. Okay? And I'm trying to keep a level head. And it's just unfair. When you go into the soup kitchen and you see veterans, people that fought for our freedom, people who fought for the freedom for me to speak here tonight, okay, that they're hungry. And my mayor won't have his consultants come together somehow to give us the money that we have gotten for over 25 years. 25 years plus. We started out 60,000, granted 40,000. Again, Legislator Williams, God bless him, he has always fought for the soup kitchen. Okay, when the county funding went down, he stepped up and he was like, okay, I'm going to do whatever I can get you. And he's been very generous with us up to the point that he can be.
Absolutely. It's so we were talking to the lady who runs the soup kitchen in Yonkers, and I forget her name right now. I'm actually revisiting that, working on that story. But she was telling us that since the funding was shut down for the Mount Vernon, a lot of Mount Vernonites are going to the
Yes.
Yonkers soup kitchen,
Sure.
and they can't feed them all.
No.
And so they're running out of food. With all the people, it's such a burden right now on the Yonkers soup kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Just so you know, you get an idea from outside of Mount Vernon what the effect of it is, you know, doing to other municipalities around us.
You know, it's
Caitlin, can I
sad.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Did the mayor take the funds that ordinarily go to community service associates and allocate them to another organization?
I would assume that. I would assume that. Are there organizations that received money this year that had never before? Sure.
Well,
And
then-
they're
No,
just
There's-
no,
and
that's
listen,
not. No, I don't want to quite know that
Yeah.
because it went somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I want to know, did it go to another soup kitchen?
There isn't another soup kitchen in
So,
City of Mount Vernon.
okay, so-
I mean, do they do similar things like food pantries and stuff like that? Absolutely, they do. A soup kitchen to our size? No, there's not another one in the City of Mount Vernon. But there are churches that do, you know, have like breakfast sometimes, and you know, again. Did they? I'm trying to remember everything that was on there. No, I mean, the most glaring thing that was on there was streetlights. You know?
If it's City BG money, it has to go somewhere else.
Yeah, it can't.
It
It
can't-
can't
it
just
can't
lay.
No,
sit
no,
there.
no.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm just trying to establish whether or not, whether in making the decision not to fund the community service associates,
Right.
what the mayor has effectively done is deny the city's hard-hit, perhaps homeless, hungry, food insecurity
that's sad.
population the opportunity to get regular meals that they
Right.
would otherwise gonna go without.
Yeah, I mean, if it were, again, I'm trying to picture what the budget was. If it were giving, it was given to a program that doesn't operate 4 days a week. I mean, we operate 4 days a week. You go into that soup kitchen, you see those same faces. You see people like you and I, okay? Just like you and I, all right? Paying their rent, paying their utilities. They just cannot put food on the table. And I've told this story so many times over and over again. This is such a vital resource for the city of Mount Vernon. When you pull money away, who's going to suffer? The people, the same people who put you in place to make their lives better.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's sad. Nobody should go hungry, man.
I ain't gonna lie. There's certain people in Mount Vernon that just didn't want to see me hungry and make sure they feed me. Just make sure they give me. You put this in the freezer for next time, and they make sure they look out for me. So if it wasn't for that, I might be at the soup kitchen. I mean, seriously. Like, I mean.
And I've told you plenty of times, come down, you know. It's just, you know, and then, you know, we had a situation, a very similar situation, and I'm not going to name names, but you guys can probably guess, where we were going to do a press conference regarding the money being taken away. And what happened is the media outlets wanted to come earlier. So when I got there and I had all the people who were supporting us there, you know, elected officials, I said, let's be a little bit more creative. Let's do a Facebook Live. And as I'm doing the Facebook Live, the mayor's brother, who never comes to the soup kitchen, walks up into the soup kitchen.
For what?
Which mayor?
Exactly.
I mean, which brother?
I'm not going to say names.
Okay.
And what did he want?
knows who it
He
is.
wanted a meal, or he want?
No.
Oh, what was his purpose?
Don't know what his purpose was.
Wow.
It's the same person who walked up on Roberta outside when she was talking to News 12 about something and he tried to interrupt. So,
You're a buddy. No, go ahead.
you know, it's just unfair.
Is that this? That's the same individual who walked between the camera and the
No.
No. Okay.
No.
It's a different.
There's a lot of them.
It was the
From
same-
what I hear,
it was
there's a
the same-
lot of them.
It was the same individual who was present at Larry Fair's
Oh, okay.
conversation, we'll just call it.
Mhm.
I don't think he did anything. He was just present. I don't know if he actually did anything.
Well, maybe his
I wanna-
presence in certain
want-
situations is intimidating.
I want to, because you were kind enough to provide us with some documents,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yep.
to kind of give us an overview of what's going on and to substantiate some of the assertions that you and other members of the CSA have made. And I do want to say that we did read the documents. They appear to be authentic, and they do indicate that in 2010, the Department of Housing and Urban Development did extend Councilwoman Apuzzo a waiver, provided that she recused herself from
Voting necessary
voting on
votes.
any. Yeah, that's all. That's typical.
But
right?
I'd like to point out that you saw the document. There is
Yes.
no expiration date on that. Okay? There's no expiration
Right,
date.
no,
It doesn't say like, and now what I want is that secondary letter that the mayor keeps telling us. Okay? That secondary letter that says that HUD is pulling the funding because of a conflict of interest. When we called HUD, they know nothing about that. They know nothing. But their response on paper to us is talk to the city of Mount Vernon.
When you got that first letter, did it come? Who requested it? Ernie Davis?
No, the person in planning at that time, I guess 2010, was, I think it was Mayor Young in 2010, right?
2010, because yes, 10 to 12, 12 to 16 would have been
Right?
Davis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
so
right.
so
Yeah,
12.
so it was actually Mayor Young's administration, and I believe
So
it was
2008
Carmen
to
Sylvester
2012. Yeah.
who was actually in the planning department handling that.
But it was at the request of the mayor, right?
I would say
Because
so.
I would think that.
Because she had just gotten elected, so they wanted to make sure.
But does this mayor have the authority or the right, or is he entitled to an opinion to say, well, I don't want this in my administration? Is that the card
Sure.
he's using?
Yeah, listen.
But he didn't say that. He
didn't.
just said that
That's,
he has a
that's
paper
the problem.
that he has
If he turned around and he said, you know, I don't want to do it to this administration, then guess what? Take the hits. Take the hits. If you don't want to fund a
Or find another
program-
way to work with y'all, though.
Right.
Well, real
I mean,
quick.
don't try and don't say to me that there's a letter where HUD says you can no longer receive funds because of conflict of interest. At least have some courage and say, you know what? I don't want to fund you guys. Take
Yeah, that's
take
what
the
I'm
hits
saying,
then.
yeah.
Take the
So-
hits from
so-
your community when you do not feed the hungry people, the constituents that put you in place.
So John R. Jones is listening. Said, "Hey, Katie."
Hey,
and,
Johnny.
And then said, "Hey, AJ, tell her I'm listening."
Oh, how cute.
Thanks, John.
Ken Bright
That's
said,
sweet.
I know Ken has a lot to
"LPS
say
will continue to support with food to the Armory and the Dole Center when able."
He's awesome.
What's LPS?
Life Progressive Services.
Yes.
This is Ken
Ken does
Bright
a lot
is-
of great things in the city of Mount Vernon.
Sounds
It's
awesome.
another wonderful program that should be supported. He's a very humble
Absolutely.
person.
And he'll set up like right outside,
Yeah.
down from where the mayor's.
Ken reaches the people.
Right on 4th
No, he
Avenue on
does.
that corner.
He does. I mean,
And-
I've
and
donated.
people
I've
go by
donated-
and he'll give them food and right there on the avenue.
There was a situation a couple of years ago where St. Peter and Paul Church had an overload of coats, and we took them to Ken. Ken does a lot of great things in the community, and I mean, we're very lucky. Amani School, they're very good to us. They donate overages of food from their cafeteria, healthy foods. We have a lot of community organizations that cook for us. We also do a lot of what Larry Fair was doing. We get a lot of recommendations from court, and people come. We have a lot of high schools in the area, Mount Vernon High School.
They
Bob
do their community
Semino,
service with y'all.
Bob Semino, I got to give a shout out to, because the Mount Vernon Knights, not only do they play basketball, but they have to serve the community that they live in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, and I think that that's not highlighted enough. YCOP is
That's
another
beautiful.
one. Henry Wilson, very generous to come and bring volunteers. We're not at a loss for volunteers. We are at a loss, believe it or not, during the summer, sometimes during the holidays, But the one thing we need money, And, I've tried a lot of things to fundraise this year. We decided not to do a gala event. We did it last year. It was a huge undertaking. We were very lucky that we had generous sponsors, that we really didn't have to take much money out of our pockets for it. Everything was privately funded. We actually made the amount of money that the mayor had cut for that budget season. And now this year, we're fundraising again.
Somebody
I want clarity.
I want to ask, and we've already addressed this, but since the person asked it, somebody named James Terry, he said, can Roberta just step down from being on the board at the soup kitchen until she retires from city council? See if he funds the program then.
Do you know how many employees we have there?
One,
We have two. And one of them is Roberta.
Can she be replaced
Well,
temporarily?
it's done now.
It's over.
It's basically done. They
She just served
denied
till
us
January.
the funds. They denied us the funds, and there'll be.
Listen, but I allow me to interrupt, because I want to be clear about. I want to say something though. Let me say something.
Okay, so wrapping up.
It is unreasonable to ask, and hypocritical to ask, the city council president to resign from her position in the private sector because of perceptions of a conflict of interest that she has taken steps to address by recusing herself. Yet, no one seems to ask about the conflict of interest with having Joe Spezio serve as the commissioner of the police department, when the police department, amongst other things, is responsible for the review of Joe's application for his company to get a permit. Now, no one would say, by that logic, and I'm here using your logic, whoever that is, in order for Joe to serve in his dollar position as police commissioner, what he needs to do is take the same steps that is being recommended that the city councilwoman do, and give up his job, place all of his assets in some sort of blind trust, remove himself from the management of RNS Waste Services that has trucks in our city, and then at least everyone will be playing by the same set of rules. That's not how you deal with conflicts of interest. You recuse yourself from decisions that may impact your well-being. That's what you do. And so it's...
Or other people's well-being.
I want to give Caitlin a couple of words because we're coming to the end of the show. But I would also like to thank Mr. Spezio, who I'm being told by several people is leaving comments under the name John Ball. I can't see because I'm being blocked, so I don't see your comments. But we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, since I have this opportunity, I just wanted to thank Black Westchester and also People Before Politics for giving me this venue to speak out in regards to this. AJ, you've always been an advocate, especially of the soup kitchen, and I think a lot of our community service comes from our parents. We've had several conversations about that. What I would just ask the community is to please come out and support us. Soup kitchen needs everybody. It does take a village to help each other. I know that's redundant. People are saying that all the time, but You know, we need it. We're an organization that needs it. We run a very safe organization where people feel comfortable to come in. They feel human when they walk in. We do not demonize them in any way. We do not ask for their social services card. We do not embarrass them in any way. We sit them at a table and we treat them like they're at a restaurant. We hand deliver the food to them. They don't stand on a food line. We make them feel like people. And I just ask that if the city of Mount Vernon, please come out, support us. When we need you, please come.
There's a couple of people are asking, and I was going to ask in closing too. So, for those listening now to you, for those who will hear this in the archive, and for those who will read it in Black Westchester, and be so moved to want to do something, how can I, as a regular citizen, help the soup kitchen right now? What can I do to help the soup kitchen?
You can come and volunteer. We're open Tuesday through Friday from 5 to 5:45 at the Mount Vernon Armory, which is on 5th Avenue in the city of Mount Vernon. If anybody would like to donate any funds, you go to csasoupkitchen.com, I think it is, or .org. I think it's .org. Or you can dial 914-668-1428, speak to Jared, and anything you'd like to donate, or if you'd like to donate your time, or if you'd like to just fight the fight for us, you know, speak to him. Nice. He coordinates all that.
You could also call the mayor's office.
Yeah.
You tell them that you're disappointed
there
in
you
the
go.
decision.
Rather than call the mayor's office, I mean, you can call him, you can email him, you can show up, you can basically tell him that we need that money. The soup kitchen needs that money. We're feeding a lot of people.
Well, the reason the soup kitchen is close to my heart, so to speak, many people know my mom passed in July of 2014. And one of the things me and my sister did the first Christmas without her, because we were trying to find a way to honor her. We were looking for someone that was actually serving on Christmas Day, and Grace was one of the few people that actually was serving on Christmas Day. So we went to do something for my mother that she constantly, in my teens and early on, would drag me to on Christmas Day. I'm like, what kid wants to go to Christmas Day, go to the church and feed some people? I'm like, I don't want to do that. But it was such a satisfying experience. And then, you know, my pastor would be like, and not just feed them, but like as that, he didn't want to see the table of just the homeless people and then the table of church folks. He had you sit amongst them and conversate with them. And I would hear so many people's stories. So Christmas 2014, that's what me and my sister did. We, you know, to pay homage to my mother who was no longer here, we went to Grace and we fed the people. And so things like the soup kitchen is close to my heart because that's something my mom was very involved. They had what they call caring and sharing, and St. Catherine and Amy Zion and Rochelle. And it would be the last Sunday of the month, and not only did they have food, but there'd be racks of coats and clothes that they could go get, you know,
and we do
whatever
the same
and
thing.
all that stuff.
We're very lucky because the women's club in Bronxville, and it escapes me, God forgive me for not remembering exactly right now, they come in every year. They come in with coats. The Junior League, that's it. The Junior League, which covers Mount Vernon, Tuckahoe, Eastchester, and Bronxville. And they come in every year. They come in with coats. They come in with toys. They you know, really support us.
Well, I just want to, you know, anybody who's doing anything, you heard how you can help.
Especially during the holidays.
Right,
yes,
right.
please,
you
especially
can, you know,
during the holidays. We get more people.
Right, while you're sitting home, you're home from college, you're sitting home, and you're being blessed, saying your blessings for what you do have. Let us remember those who have less, because the Bible says, what you do to the least of these, you also do unto me.
Amen.
So, you know, God had, you know, he was saying something to one of the people that was walking up to him. He's like, yo, but when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. And he was like, when I was clothes, you didn't give me clothes. And it was like, but Jesus, when were you ever hungry and without clothes? And that's what he said. He said, what you do to the least of these, you also do unto me. So I just want to leave people with those words. it doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it's just serving and it's just your time. Sometimes it's just gently worn sneakers that you're not wearing. And how many of y'all have sneakers that y'all got closets full of sneakers and coats and jackets and stuff that y'all don't wear, that's in such good shape that y'all ain't worn in a year or two and you're not going to wear. You know what I'm saying? A suit means so much to somebody, just to put
When
on
they're
a
going
business
for a job
suit,
interview,
to go
yeah.
for a job, So I shout to my friends, This Suits You, I think that's the name of it in Brooklyn. They get men haircuts and give them suits when they're about to go on job interviews and stuff, and they teach
used
them
to
how
do
to
that.
interview and stuff, stuff like that. So
Ken Bright in the city
Ken
of
Bright,
Mount
Ken
Vernon
Bright,
helps
you're
doing
right.
that.
I used to do that in Yonkers.
So I want to thank all those who are blessing the others, and we can all do more. Hopefully I'm doing my part now by helping to spread the word, but and giving the voice to those who need to be heard. We want to thank Larry Fair for coming through and for sharing his story with us, and again for allowing us to get back to the people before the politics during this political season. It's the people. We talk about who's running and who's in office, and we all have our
But the
sides.
people
that we
need to
pick.
know that.
Right. We always pick our sides, and it's like the Bloods and the Crips, and you know what I'm saying. You're on this side, you're just on this side forever. I can't understand that. But and case in point, Caitlin was a Ernie Davis supporter, and Ernie Davis, I was never on the Christmas card list of any Ernie Davis supporters, but afterwards we became friends, and when she ran for library trustee, I was there and I helped her. I helped her. I supported her because I thought she was one of the. I thought she was more qualified than other people that were running. But it didn't bother me that she ran with Ernie before, and I wanted Ernie out of office. You know what I'm saying? One has nothing to do with the other.
That's
and
right.
we need to be able to move on, especially in a small city like Mount Vernon, where it's 4x4, and we all have to live with each other, and we got to stop making permanent decisions during temporary situations. You know what I'm saying? That affect us for the rest of our lives. And you don't speak to somebody. If you was my friend for 28 years and you don't speak to me because I supported somebody, then you was never my friend. So, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's really important also. Like, people have to respect other people's opinions.
Right.
I mean, for me personally, one of the reasons why I want to support George Latimer as a county exec is because I really believe that he will do more for Mount Vernon than any other county exec. And I'm hoping, I know that he will.
And what makes our show so great, that my Latina Republican friend over here is an Astorino supporter. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think he's.
I still love you, Lorraine.
I think
want
he's
you to
done
know,
a great
girl.
job, and he's going to continue to do a great job come November.
Right. So, with all that said, no.
It's rough sitting here sometimes. I'm telling you.
No. She wrote, and in one of the papers she wrote, I just want to say, being Latina and Republican in the Trump era. It was a very powerful story.
It's not easy, but not that I'm a Trump supporter.
But I just want to thank everybody who's listening. You could be doing anything else right now, but you decided to ride with us, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it. This is BlackWestchester.com presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 145. We come on every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. Check us next week. There's a slight possibility, and you know what? Since he said, can he reschedule to next week? I'm going to go ahead and say the county executive asked, can he schedule till next week? So we're going to see if we're going to actually get him in the building. Because I told him I don't want to talk to him on the phone. I want him actually in the building. So let's see if the county executive comes and bless us with his presence next week. You're more than invited, and we're going to have an interesting conversation. Oh, and lastly, the city council debate that everyone was asking me to put together is probably not going to happen. And for the reasons that I said before, and the people that I said wouldn't participate, and other things, if I'm wrong, then prove me wrong this week, and everybody confirm. And if not, then I am right, and there will be no debate. So with that said, until next week, peace.
Peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. The any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America